Hi gang, Mark Replogle here. It's early June 2013 and based on certain events that have happened in the U.S. and certain Bible readings I've been doing, I wanted to get to you this video. This has to do with what I call angels are for jailbreaks. Now, it sounds strange, but realistically what I'm trying to say to you is that angels serve many purposes, and according to the New Testament book of Acts, twice they were essential in jailbreaks to help the apostles get out of jail. But based on other things that are happening, I think that we need to be using and praying and working with them more in our daily lives. What I'm concerned about is basically I'm sure you know people, and I do too, in person or on the Facebook or whatever, that are part of doomsday preppers or whatever, Second American Revolution, what have you, and they expect bad things to happen. And of course, you do have this U.S. attorney in Tennessee, I think it is, or Kentucky, who's basically came out last week and this week saying basically he's going to start prosecuting Americans civilly and or criminally if they dare to say anything that any Muslim thinks is offensive or demeaning or just not kosher, so to speak. And it's only for Muslims, not for Christians when they're offended by a Muslim or what have you. So obviously that means jail time, right? And you're facing the FBI, because he gave a talk recently with an FBI man, and also means Department of Homeland Security is coming after you. We do know of these FEMA camps and what have you. Anyhow, I'm not conspiracy theory, I'm just saying that you do have the whole 10,000-pound gorilla about ready to jump on you if you're a Christian and or you say things that any given Muslim at any given time doesn't like, finds offensive, what have you. Right? What is of interest to me, and probably you, is many people have said to me, and probably you, or you have read it, wherein they say, they're referring to Christianity, that it's basically just a hope and a prayer, or a prayer and you're just taking a chance, right? Well, what they're really saying is, when I look at you, I don't see any power. You have no power, zero, no authority. Stuff goes on. So if Christianity makes you feel better, who cares? Don't bother me. I'm just going to go on and prepare for life or this eventuality this way or that way. In other words, I'm going to put my trust in chariots. So what I'm taking from that is that I can and should be growing in my faith and in my prayer life with God. They should be able to see the power and authority in my life that was exhibited in the lives of the apostles and prophets and the general people in the first century that you read about in the book of Acts, right? And I believe that there are certain key things that I can tell you that I am going to on faith and prayer and how to grow in these things and to see a change in your life and the lives of people around you. All right. Now, one of the key jumping blocks is that this power is available, this authority. Why? Because the Holy Spirit lives in us, and it's that Spirit who God used to raise Jesus from the dead. All right. Now, what we see also in Matthew 17, I believe it's verses 14 through the end of the chapter, is a demon-possessed guy, a son, was not being able to be healed by the disciples. Jesus had to intervene and do it for the disciples. Anyhow, I believe it's verse 20. The disciples asked Jesus, what did we do wrong? Obviously, it didn't work for us. It worked for you. What did we do wrong, or what have you? And Jesus said, because of your unbelief. And then later on, verse 21, he says, by the way, this type of demon can only be kicked out by much prayer and fasting. Okay, but anyhow, Jesus found fault with his own disciples, saying, your lack of belief. So even they couldn't get it right. Then also you find in on the other side of the coin, I believe it's Mark chapter 5, I'm not sure, where the centurion goes to Jesus and says, I have a servant, I want him healed, and I know you can do it. So if you will just say the word to heal my servant, you don't even have to come visit me. In fact, I don't want you to visit me. Just give me the word, and my servants will bring back to me the words, and that will be sufficient to heal the servant. And Jesus said of that faith that he had not seen such great faith even in all of Israel. All right? So that faith is available today. Now faith is important because we do know in Hebrews chapter 11 it says, without faith it is impossible to please God. Okay, so we can and should grow in faith, and here's some aspects of how you do it. The key thing is not just to be deliberate, as some people say, and definite with God. You need to actually have great faith that what you pray for is going to happen. You're not going to know all the details of how it happened, but that's not your job, right? So, but you also need to work on your prayer life with God, because in Matthew 17 verse 21 Jesus said that type of demon goes out with much prayer and fasting. So there are, in other words, certain things in your life you do need to be praying more and or fasting. All right. So a key thing about faith is this: don't just be definite, but focus only on the expectation that God is going to say yes. Do not think for a moment or entertain the idea that God could say no, or wait, or, you know, I'm too busy, I'll get around to you later. All right? You got to be definite. That's why also in James, I think it's chapter 1, the writer's talking about if you have a need for wisdom and you ask God, it says, let that man not doubt. Because if he does, don't even entertain the thought that you'll get anything from God, because you're not going to get anything. So don't doubt. I like to use this idea of the old westerns you see on TV. A guy goes into a bar, you know, and it has those doors, whatever they're called, that go like that, right? So I think that's fascinating, because the doors, when they're at rest, they're facing each other, right? And say you're going to go in, so the door pushes in. That's a yes, right? And the middle, when they're at rest, that's a wait, or maybe I'll get around to you. When the door swings out toward you, that's a no, right? So when you're entering into that bar, you're pushing that door, you're holding it open, right? Well, you're moving. You're not entertaining the idea that the door is at rest, because it isn't. You pushed it. Nor are you entertaining the door could be a no, which is facing you, and your chest would run into it. You're not even thinking of that. You're just going yes. Right? Now, if the door doesn't move, okay, well, you run into the door, no harm, no foul, no blood. Okay, no big deal. Kind of the same with prayer. Right? But you're definite. You're expecting a yes. Okay? That also deals with the idea of prayer. Why? Because God's going to speak to us in many different ways. And in the jailbreak situation, it was through angels. We have prophets speaking to other people in the New Testament. We have in the early parts of the gospel, the wise men, basically it was astronomy, so to speak, following stars, right? You have angels speaking to other people during Jesus' birth, okay? You have all sorts of ways God gives in dreams, visions, what have you, all right? So it's important to learn how to hear God, no matter how He talks to you, but also learn how to discern whether it's God's voice or your own desires or Satan's or what have you. You know, bad pizza you had last night, whatever the deal is. Okay, so that's what you have to learn to do. So faith is just that definite, but in absolute belief. You're going to think, act, and believe that this is going to happen for you. You're not taking a risk. If God says no because it's a closed door, okay, you'll hopefully listen better and react better and so forth. But still, you acted and you expected. And then you also have to, before you even receive of God, you're going to be grateful and you're going to be expecting and enjoying that yes, whatever that yes to your prayer or need is. Okay, that's important. And because if you can emotionally, so to speak, live in your future where God did great things for you, where He has said yes, and He provided for you, okay, and you're just your faith has grown even more because He said yes. That's going to help you walk in faith until that time you get the yes. All right, that's a key thing to be working on. Now, with your prayer life, it's not just like a rote repetition of the Lord's Prayer. Okay, it's learning how to pray, learning how to work with and believe that there are other creatures called angels, and they're here, they're working with you, they talk to you just like in the Old Testament New, like Daniel had the angel talking with him and said, hey, I'm the only one fighting this guy, a bit of a delay, sorry about that, I'm here now, and da-da-da-da. Okay, so expect the unexpected. Learn to pray for big things. Learn to reach out and grasp them. All right. One of the ways you're going to be able to do that is by basically just taking something that's really impressive and bothering you. Learning to write a goal. Learn to journal. Learning to hear God. And write down and then believe what He said. All right. Now, what I've given you in this brief video should be sufficient for you to kickstart your life in terms of growing more and deeper and enhancing your prayer life. That's where I can help you more if you wish to pick up that resource at howtotalktogod.com. All right. Basically, I want to provide for you a useful thing that can help you, and that is going to be those books and special reports in the CD. And for a nominal charge, I want to give you a use value that far exceeds the $39, so that you're moving along, you've recouped that far greater, and you're experiencing greater peace and greater relationship with our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. That's where I come in. That's how I help you guys. And I've been very thankful and blessed by your response and comments, so I really want to thank you for that. So if you have any questions, you can always email me or just watch this again. You can subscribe. Get my daily newsletters or emails. You can just go to howtotalktogod.com and sign up for that, and you'll learn a lot there. Okay, so I really wanted to get this out, especially in light of what's coming down the pike, and I don't know exactly what's going to happen, who's going to have it happen to them, or what have you. But I do know this: we need to be moving in the power of God, because the Spirit of Christ lives in us, and we should be exhibiting power and authority far greater than we do now. And it's available now. We just need to act on it. Okay? Because I think the power of God is far greater and far more beneficial to us than trusting in the power of chariots or kings or what have you. All right? So God bless, and I hope this helps. Talk to you soon. Goodbye.